The devil of Hell's Kitchen is back. Daredevil, Born Again, is finally here. And the big question, is this a continuation of the Netflix series? Apparently, yes. That brings some weird timeline issues, but the show still feels fresh and exciting. Before we dive into spoilers, Daredevil is back stronger than ever. But not everything will make fans happy. Let me know in the comments. Did you like the first episode or not? All right, let's talk about Foggy's death. There was still some doubt about whether this was a soft reboot. But nope, Bullseye takes Foggy out, and it's brutal. Two things. First, I'm shocked they actually did it. We heard rumors, but seeing it happen after 3 seasons of him being Matt's best friend? That hurt. Second, I don't love how quickly Matt moves on. Instead of Nelson and Murdoch, we now have Murdoch and McDuffie, and his death barely seems to affect Matt outside of being Daredevil. Of course, now he and Kara are distant, but only that really. Did you expect Foggy's death? How do you feel about it? Drop a comment. And if you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. Now, let's talk action. Daredevil swinging like Spider-Man? Insane. But the CGI? It's not the movement. It's the fights. The entire Bullseye scene was CGI, and it just didn't hit the same. One of the best things about the Netflix series was the raw, brutal fight choreography. And that adrenaline feels a bit lost here. CGI fights or old-school action? Which do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. And remember, subscribe if you like the video. Now, let's talk about the best part of the episode, Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio was born for this role. His story picks up after Echo, and after getting shot, Vanessa has completely distanced herself from him, even cheating on him. When he finally comes face to face with Matt, man, that was a highlight. Their chemistry is insane. The tension, the warnings, the power struggle. It's everything I wanted. In Born Again, Kingpin is now the mayor of New York, merging elements from both Born Again and Devil's Reign, where he outlaws vigilantes. Overall, this episode had highs and lows, but I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Did it meet your expectations? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to hear my beautiful voice breaking down Daredevil Season 3, check out my review right here. See you in the next one. Daredevil's party ain't over. Double episode premiere. Let's go.
Yes! Yeah!
After all this time, Daredevil is finally back. And we got not just 1, but 2 episodes. Insane, right? Drop a comment. Did episode 2 live up to your expectations? This time, Daredevil isn't the only hero in town. White Tiger enters the scene. And finally, we get real MCU connections with Spider-Man, though still no Avengers or major past events. Hector Ayala brings back that Law and Order vibe, with Matt proving his innocence in court, something we needed to see. What do you think of White Tiger? Does he add to the legal side of the show? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. Now, poor Karen. It's hilarious how Matt keeps telling her how much he suffers with her, yet he's still out here being a total player.
Washbomb, you dog.
And speaking of romance, we've got a new love interest, Heather Glenn, a psychologist who, in true soap opera fashion, is connected to every major villain, including Kingpin, Vanessa, and the newest, most disturbing MCU villain, Muse. Played by the actor from Wednesday, this guy is about to shake things up. What do you think of Matt's new romance? And are you hyped for Muse? Drop a comment and subscribe. On the Kingpin side, we see his full inner circle and how he's strategically playing both conservatives and young audiences. Enter Daniel Bald, connecting him with B.B. Urich, Ben Urich's niece. Yep, the same Ben that Kingpin took care of.
I'm here to kill you.
Honestly, after everything that went down in Season 3, it's wild to think that Wilson Fisk is now mayor. At first, I thought this was a soft reboot, but let's be real. Sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. Overall, I'd rate this episode an 8 out of 10. But we need to talk about the action. Once again, I think they went a little overboard with the CGI. When Matt saves the kid White Tiger rescued, things escalate fast. The fight scene was so brutal that for a second, I wondered if he had crossed the line. The blood? Straight up horror movie levels. And not in a good way. I'm not sure if the intention was to make us question whether Matt broke his promise. But personally, I'm not a fan of over-the-top CGI in fight scenes. But the big reveal? These cops aren't just corrupt. They follow the Punisher's philosophy. And you know what that means? Frank Castle is coming. If you loved this breakdown, hit subscribe. And check out my review of the previous episode. Don't miss it. See you in the next one. All right, guys, they talk and talk.
2,000 years later, 6.5 hours later, a few inches later, 1 eternity later.
And just keep talking. Jokes aside, this episode was different. We can clearly see the huge difference between Netflix's Daredevil and Marvel's version. Back on Netflix, every episode had a fight scene, without fail. Action was their signature move. Meanwhile, Disney isn't afraid to dedicate an entire episode to Matt Murdock's other side.
You're keeping tabs on me.
His life as a lawyer. So that raises the big question. Is this a good thing? Or just plain boring? Let's be real about this. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Right now, it feels like everyone just follows the hype. Remember how people insisted that Captain America was just bad without really thinking about it?
Blah, blah, blah.
Now, it's the opposite. Everyone's saying Daredevil is good without really analyzing why.
Blah, blah, blah.
And don't get me wrong, I actually think this was a great episode. But I also recognize that some fans might find it slow, especially considering Daredevil already has 3 seasons, about 32 episodes, establishing what a Daredevil episode is supposed to be like. So, yeah, this felt disruptive, to say the least. The big case. White Tiger on trial. This episode was full-on courtroom drama. Felt like something straight out of Law and Order. Matt's strategy? Simple. Get Nikki Torres on the stand to prove Officer Powell was lying and mistreating White Tiger. A small but crucial detail? Matt didn't actually cross the line when he beat them up. Now, back to the trial. Nikki was terrified seeing so many cops in the courtroom, so he lied, which forced Matt to reveal Hector's identity as White Tiger. And that's how he won the case. What did you think of the case? Did it keep you on edge, or did it drag a bit? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you're enjoying the breakdown, don't forget to subscribe. Fisk, the mayor or the kingpin? Let's talk about Wilson Fisk. We can see he's still having problems with his wife. Vanessa wants to stay in the criminal underworld, but Fisk? He genuinely seems to want to run things as mayor, not just as a kingpin. That's my impression, at least. But let's be real. Violence oozes out of him like a kettle ready to explode. Meanwhile, Vanessa is trying to keep New York's gangs in check, while there's this power vacuum. But Fisk is done with vigilantes. He's going to turn the whole city against Hector Ayala's verdict. The tragic fate of White Tiger. And speaking of Hector, even though he was banned from wearing the suit again, which, let's be honest, was obvious, he still put it on and met a tragic end. Honestly, that scene hit hard.
Una palabra no dice nada y al mismo tiempo lo dice todo.
And then, boom, that massive cliffhanger. Did Punisher do it? If you want more breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe. I'll leave my review of the previous episode right here. See you in the next one. New Daredevil episode just dropped. But guess what? Yeah, if you were expecting all that, big fights, insane reveals, crazy action, you're gonna be super disappointed. Because once again, it's just a whole lot of blah, blah, blah. Look, when this show came back, the hype was through the roof, and I was ready to love it. But now, 4 episodes in, I don't care what critics say, I don't care what the fandom thinks, I'm bored. Drop a comment. Did you like this episode? Are you still into it? Or is it starting to drag? And hey, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. Now, don't get me wrong, the show isn't bad. It's actually held together by the insane talent of the cast. We've got White Tiger's niece stepping up, fully set up for a future time skip where, boom, we get a brand new White Tiger. Matt takes on another case, showing the raw struggles of the people who need him most. And once again, it proves that this system is rotten to the core. So broken that, of course, a vigilante is necessary. That doesn't stop Matt from hunting down justice for Hector Ayala. His investigation leads him straight to the Punisher. That's right, Frank Castle is back. And this man is completely unhinged. He's out for blood, ready to burn everything to the ground. The way he's written, the way he's acted, perfection. Meanwhile, Matt is walking a fine line, just like Fisk, one step away from snapping. And when he does, whoever stands in his way, good luck. Tell me in the comments, how do you feel about Punisher's return? His dialogue? His performance? Freaking incredible, right? And of course, hit that subscribe button. Now, let's talk about Fisk. His entire bureaucratic power trip? Fascinating. But you can feel the tension. He's a ticking time bomb, barely holding it together, even when literal children are singing to him. And then, that ending. He's got this guy, Adam, locked up, a name we've only heard until now. And just like that, we see classic Kingpin, sitting down to eat, savoring his meal while soaking in his own twisted revenge. Sounds epic, right? Wrong. The pacing is way too slow. At least Netflix's Daredevil gave us action every single episode. And yeah, Daredevil isn't just about fights, but come on, it's a superhero show, not Law and Order. In fact, you could literally skip the first 3 episodes, jump straight into episode 4, and you'd understand everything. And that's just bad storytelling. At the end of the day, the lack of a main storyline is hurting this show. It all just feels like setup for the future. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, purely because of the cast's insane performances. Without them, probably a 6 out of 10. But seriously, these actors are carrying the entire thing. Like that moment with the kids singing to a completely defeated Kingpin? Only Vincent D'Onofrio could make that work. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, I've got my reviews of the previous episodes linked. Check those out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Alright guys, we've got a brand new episode of Daredevil, Born Again, and this time they hit us with a double feature. A bit of a weird choice, to be honest. I know it was announced beforehand, but it still felt kind of random. Though I guess it was meant to build up hype for Matt's big return in the horned suit. Let me know in the comments. Did you like this episode or not? And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Now, let's get into it. After all the blah blah blah. Yeah, sure. It added intensity to the plot. But come on, I just wanted to see some superhero action. And we finally got it. 2 suspenseful episodes with a bit of action sprinkled in. The bank episode? Solid. It keeps you engaged. Never feels boring. Super entertaining. Never drags. Plus, we got a Yusuf Khan cameo, Ms. Marvel's dad, some fun jokes, and even a Funko meta reference. The action scenes? And no CGI. Also, Matt feels way more brutal than his Netflix version, which is a huge win. What do you think? Is this version of Matt more violent, or is it just me? And do you feel like the recent episodes are kind of all over the place? There are so many subplots. It's easy to get lost. Punisher's gang, Muse, the Diamond, Kingpin, and who knows what else. Drop your thoughts in the comments. But here's my issue: cohesion. This episode felt completely disconnected from the rest of the story, like a random side quest. Maybe the diamond will matter later, but right now, it just felt out of place. Could this be a result of all the reshoots? Because, honestly, you can feel the inconsistency. And about that Yusuf Khan cameo, it was fine, but Marvel needs to move past these pointless cameos. With so many heroes in the MCU, why not do team-up episodes instead? If this was already a filler story, why not throw in Kamala Khan? At this point, I like Yusuf more than Ms. Marvel herself. And let's be real, everyone in the comments was saying, "Oh, Kamala's dad is the best." Like, okay, but is he suiting up for Avengers? Doomsday now? And don't tell me it's unrealistic. Daredevil already showed up in She-Hulk and kicked some ass. Sure, superpowers cost money, and big-name actors aren't cheap, but Marvel can definitely afford a team-up episode at this point. Just saying, there are better ways to handle cameos. Overall, I'd give this episode an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, but those little issues held it back. If you haven't seen my breakdown of White Tiger's death yet, check it out next. I'll see you there. Guys, this was the most spectacular episode of Daredevil yet. Seriously, top tier from every angle. Now, don't get me wrong, the last episode with the bank heist was good, but it felt kinda out of place, like it didn't really fit. But this episode? We're back to the main storyline. Everything is spiraling out of control, and Daredevil is taking back the streets. Drop your thoughts on this episode in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the channel. Alright, let's get into it, because we finally find out that all those murals we've been seeing throughout the series, yeah, they were all made by Muse. And of course, they're painted in blood, just like the character himself. Easily one of the darkest villains in Marvel, no doubt. The episode kicks off with high tension. Fisk is working to win over New York's elite, and we even get a cameo from Tony Dalton, returning as Jack Duquesne, aka Swordsman. Last time we saw him was back in Hawkeye. Meanwhile, on Matt's side, White Tiger's niece comes to him for help, but he's hesitant. He doesn't know how to handle it without crossing the line. So she takes matters into her own hands, leading straight to her encounter with Muse. And that scene? Insane. We've been seeing Matt and Fisk's duality since the start of the season. And when White Tiger's mom calls Matt for help, she treats him like he's the cops. Doesn't even matter. Matt tracks Muse down using clues from his computer, deep in the New York subway tunnels, all while being blind. And that fight? Absolutely brutal. And then there's Kingpin. He snaps and absolutely destroys Adam. My God, poor Adam. He was basically a punching bag, just taking all of Fisk's rage. And then Fisk hands him an axe, like, "Here, let's make this a fair fight." Pure cinema. Meanwhile, Matt completely lets loose too, beating Muse within an inch of his life. This episode had action, suspense, and yeah, a few minor flaws. But who cares? A solid 8.5 out of 10. I'm reviewing the whole series episode by episode, so if you like this video, check out my breakdown of the previous episode right here. See you there. New Tuesday, new Daredevil episode, and this one delivers. This time, we get a well-rounded episode packed with action, consequences, and a jaw-dropping betrayal. Matt is feeling the aftermath of returning as Daredevil. Bruises, exhaustion, and some serious explaining to do to Heather Glenn. She's now forced to decide if she can handle being with the man behind the mask. And just when we thought Muse's latest victim was just another tragic case, we find out she's actually White Tiger's niece. But what really caught me off guard? Muse wasn't just after her. His real target was Heather all along. The way Daredevil figures it out and rushes to stop him might have felt a bit too convenient. But hey, that's superheroes for you. I actually liked that they showed Matt piecing it together, even if it was a bit of a stretch. One thing I absolutely love about this version of Daredevil, something straight out of the Netflix series, is the rage in his fights. He's not just saving people, he's unleashing every ounce of anger, resentment, and fury on his enemies. And yeah, some Marvel fans might be disappointed that they keep killing off their villains. But honestly, I had zero issues with Muse meeting St. Peter, personally. That guy gave me serious cringe. As for Kingpin, he's playing the long game, giving credit to his anti-vigilante squad. Something I bet we'll see come into play in Daredevil Season 2, and hopefully Spider-Man 4. But let's talk about that betrayal. Vanessa ordering a hit on Kingpin while he's having dinner, and his own right-hand man follows through. The real question is, will Kingpin realize it when he checks his phone? This dynamic is nothing like what we saw in the Netflix show, and I love it. Final verdict? A huge 10 for this episode. No reason to rate it lower. Tight storytelling, solid action, and even some horror elements. Subscribe for more breakdowns, check out my reviews of the previous episodes, and don't miss my deep dive into the latest Spider-Man 4 news. Daredevil Born Again just dropped a brand new episode, and guess what? There's almost zero. But somehow, it's one of the best episodes in the entire series. Yeah, I said it. Let me explain why. Ever since episode 5, things have been leveling up. More action, more suspense. And this latest chapter keeps that momentum going in a very unexpected way. Drop your thoughts in the comments about this third-to-last episode, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my breakdown of the grand finale. So let's dive in. The episode kicks off with Kingpin confessing to Vanessa that he's holding Adam prisoner. Now, it doesn't exactly feel like an act of revenge. We're not sure if Fisk looked through the mobster's phone, but this moment comes off more like a twisted way of being open with Vanessa. And what does she do? With no hesitation, she ends her lover's life. But instead of showing regret or distance from Fisk, this actually seems to seal their reconciliation. What do you think? Could Vanessa be planning another move against Kingpin? After we wrapped up the arc with Muse, we're back with Bullseye. And honestly, this guy is insane. He's evolved into a full-on walking weapon. The man escapes prison with a tooth. Not even John Wick goes that far.
You sure this is what you want to do?
What's the first thing he does? Heads straight to Kingpin's party to take him out. And it cracks me up. Less than 10 minutes in, and he already has his deadliest weapon, the sniper rifle. Then we get one of the most controversial scenes in the whole show, Matt saving Kingpin. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Sure, Matt's all about justice, but he's never wanted anyone dead. Still, I'm really curious how the show's gonna justify a blind man saving the mayor from an assassination attempt. It better be something that makes sense. As the season winds down, it's clear the writers want to show us Vanessa as a true, brutal villain. She's most likely behind what happened to Foggy, and clearly, she loves being the new Kingpin. Like I said, this episode is a weirdly perfect 10 out of 10 for me. The music? Phenomenal. The pacing and suspense? Gripping. We watch Fisk climb right back to the top, and with his squad, he has the streets under control. But don't worry, they mention the Punisher will deal with them next season, coming next year. And before I wrap up, can we talk about how savage Matt's become? The way he uses people now, like Heather? His obsession with justice is turning him into the worst version of himself. That's why he told Punisher, "We're the same trash." Brutal honesty. Honestly, one of the best chapters yet. Check out my review of the previous episode and my full series breakdown, plus your first look at Dr. Doom. Guys, it's finally here, the epic finale of Daredevil, Born Again. And yes, Frank Castle had to show up to give us the very first scenes in the series that are straight up rated R. Vincent D'Onofrio wasn't kidding when he said there's a scene that goes beyond anything he's ever done as Kingpin. And honestly, I'm shocked Disney even allowed it. So, what did you guys think of the finale? Did you love it? Was it everything you hoped for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, let me just say this. I have mixed feelings about the episode. Don't get me wrong, it's easily a 10 out of 10, no doubt. But there are some details and questions I want to break down with you. Just like in Daredevil Season 3, we see the same thing here. At the beginning of the season, nobody takes Kingpin seriously. He's the little mayor, a total joke. Everyone underestimates him. He's not feared, just ignored. But now, he's untouchable. And like I've said before, Matt is literally watching Fisk build his empire right in his face. Boom! But Kingpin's plans this time? They went so far that Season 2 of Daredevil, Born Again, needs to be a full-on team-up. Seriously, I don't get why Marvel doesn't do mini crossovers with their shows, like they do in the comics. I was honestly expecting some superhero cameos in that last episode, and all we got were random civilians? Like, what? You've got all these heroes just sitting there, and nothing? At the very least, this threat felt like Defenders level. I mean, come on. It gave me total 2013 vibes back when Marvel couldn't connect anything, even when the stakes clearly called for it. It just felt a little off. And oh my God, can we talk about the Punisher? This character is insane. That team-up scene with Daredevil, brutal, cinematic gold. But here's my one issue. He's just way too overpowered for the kind of family-friendly vibe most Marvel heroes have. Like, this dude doesn't even let the guy at the entrance booth survive. I get that that's who he is, and yeah, we've seen him take out henchmen and major villains in older films, but this time, it's a lot. I feel like they should at least tone it down when it comes to innocent people. Injure them badly? Sure. But save the fatal blows for the bosses. Even I was sitting there like Daredevil. Yo, are you okay, bro? He's a psycho, but that's the character. Still, it's a solid 10 out of 10 for both the Punisher and the actor. Just feels like he's really pushing the edge in the current MCU. So, yeah, let me know what you thought of the episode. Like I said, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Kingpin owns the city. Punisher is on the loose, Karen's back, and Daredevil is about to team up with the bar's bartender to fight a freaking army. Don't forget to check out my review for each episode of this series. And if you enjoyed this one, I'll catch you in the next.